That's what the guns in the truck say. Running the bitch in the Lord called on the world. Hey, beside my death, and y'all beside yourself. One more for what you go for, and you gon' hide yourself. Devil got the die for his lies and the truth. I got no love for the practice. Lord, just for the ticket. And in my father's house, it's been a bitch. I got bitch up in your bitches. They got blood shit. Vicious words out this nigga book. Well, they take these suckers back to school. No blow in the hook. They cross the line, ain't no coming back. You can't no doubt. The only thing sweet is the honey check. Righteous is the Lord. Give me rest from my sorrow. And ain't no death for the devil. There's no tomorrow. Cause the God is legal man is good for. To see a flag in the flag, I see doors in the bitch. So please believe it. Your white man is a demon. And I ain't gonna go when I'm the freeman. The white man is coming. And the cover is white as night. You ain't out like feeling. You got this nigga on your team. They wanna have me. You see me let this bitch burn at 1,000 degrees. I'm laying in the blood of the release. I told her I do anything she please. And I squeeze on the devil beats. She you gon' die for your brothers.
The police just shot him for no apparent reason. No law. They asked for license and registration. That's the police officer over there that did it. With the black one. I can't really do shit because I'm here. I can't believe they just did that.
You gon' die for your brothers.
Any man in this life, from the outside, I surround the Christ. And for the one that you can't die. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary. lift my down glass.
We live our lives and no excuse. You sit the prayer up to the Lord. I told him, then let all the terrorists loose. On your job, don't get rebuked. Cause you made a trust. With your race to make fucking things out of my bitch. Scared of who? You got your gun, get put. We are niggas out of hard. You miss my who gon' bite the bullet. He gon' take run, take no take no. Opponents better move slow. Attack dogs for the truth. Nigga, cool yo.
Nobody sell you drugs without me saying that.
Trying to find something to follow. Yeah, Lord, see me every man trying to borrow. Little trains, I saw me got the train so bad. I live where my heart goes. Pop me on the side of the road, like a sideshow. Now I'm set fly, and this man be the gospel. Ready with no doors, trying to find a mission. World got the mission, squeeze up the bed, keep your hands just a little bit from the church. My life is all live, I'm trying to take it down. Soldier, trying to find a good shit. Now how to get it still. Listen well to what I tell. My voice is called train. Something that a rebel knows very well. They should tell I was sick from the Lord. Got a tongue like a two-edged sword. With a style that the righteous record. The only thing people is the church for the wicked and the righteous reward. Have mercy on the many thoughts I ain't separated from the prayers. Now on my prayers being so weak. I want to check the world by word of mouth. You can check for the rebels that you heard about. Yeah. And it ain't for a stop for the 100 virgins in my house. And the word itself. Yeah, heard it out. Without a shadow of a doubt. You tell me getting hit so. Shalom Israel, this is the Israelite School of UPK. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. I'm Natazab, Officer 500, ISUPK Sacramento. Tonight is Wednesday night law class, so obviously we're gonna get into the law. We're gonna get into so the foods that's lawful and unlawful. Like us being Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, being Israelites. What are we allowed to eat? What are we not allowed to eat? So we're going to get into that. But what I'm going to first start, I'm going to start at in the Apocrypha. I'm going to start at Baruch 4:1. Because, you know, the Christian church, they like to teach that the laws are done away with. And that's what Christ came. Christ came to do away with the law. But you can read Matthew's, and Christ tells you he didn't come to do away with the law. He came to fulfill. You understand? He said, not one jot or one tittle, I'm paraphrasing, shall pass away from these laws. You understand? So I'm going to go into Baruch 4:1, and I'm going to show you that we have to live by a code of conduct. We have to live in order, man. So with that being said, I'm going to give Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. And make sure, if you ain't heard these precepts or you ain't heard these scriptures, make sure you write them down. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God. You know what I'm saying? This book, the Bible, the Apocrypha, these books are books of commandments, man. It's laws, statutes, and commandments in this book from God. You understand? These are not something that Moses made up. You know what I'm saying? These commandments and these laws, statutes, and commandments that we tell our people that we are required to keep, these laws came from God. You understand? What to eat and what not to eat, who to sleep with, who not to sleep with. You know what I'm saying? Not to line your face up, not to do drugs, not to sell drugs. All these commandments that we keep, they came from the Most High. And that's what we have to understand as a people. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to understand that who these laws, statutes, and commandments were given to. These laws, statutes, and commandments was given to so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. These laws, statutes, and commandments were given to the Israelites and only for the Israelites. You understand? Just like how America has a constitution, you understand? This Bible, these books, you understand, from Genesis to Revelations, these books in this Bible and the Apocrypha, this is for Black people. This is for Hispanic people. This is for Native American Indian people. If you keep these laws, this is your refuge. You understand? I'm going to read that again. This is the book of the commandments of God. You know what I'm saying? These books are commandments. There's laws, statutes, and commandments from God in this book, man. It's not just like some history book. It's not some book you just read when you want to love another nation. We are commanded to do certain things. We are required to do certain things that this Bible tells us to do. You understand? We are prohibited to do certain things that this Bible tells us is unlawful. That's what we have to understand. Because if you don't live your life with laws or statutes, then you live in a lawless life. So then what's gonna happen? You're going to do whatever makes you feel good. You know what I'm saying? You're going to want to do things. You're going to want to do whatever makes you feel good. And guess what makes Black people feel good? Being in captivity. Smoking weed. Doing drugs. Selling drugs. You understand? Eating whatever we want to eat. Sleeping with women, throwing them away. Being a whore. You're going to do whatever it is. When you don't have laws and you don't have a code of conduct to rely on, you're going to do whatever you want to do. But if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you are an Israelite. So the Bible lets us know when we read this, like when it say, I'm paraphrasing, it say, the things written before our time is for our learning. We supposed to look at, if we know we Israelites now, we supposed to look at what our ancestors did wrong and what our ancestors did to achieve to achieve things and to make God happy. You understand? And we supposed to learn from these things. That's why I say it's written for our learning. This Bible is written for our learning, man. And in ISUPK, we learned that our people was at the bottom and we being destroyed and we in poverty and we destroyed for not keeping these laws. So what do we got to do? Because we tried everything else. We got to come back to having a code of conduct, and we got to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what we have to do as a nation. Not just a couple of us, not just a few of us, but as a nation, we have to come back to keeping these laws. You understand? So I'm going to read that again. This is the book of the commandments of God. This book that we read, you understand? This Holy Bible, this KJV Bible, you know what I'm saying? This is the commandments of God. That's not a light thing. You know what I'm saying? These are commandments from God himself. That's what we got to understand. I'm going to keep reading. And the law that endure forever. You understand? Because you know the Christian church, they like to teach you that the laws are done away with. Come as you are. You can eat what you want to eat. You can do whatever you want to do. You understand? Meanwhile, they want you to pay tithes. So if the laws are done away with, why are we paying tithes? Why are you paying tithes to this evil person, man? Why are you paying tithes to this monster and he telling you the law is done away with? Tithes is an Old Testament law. To pay tithes is an Old Testament law. So why is he keeping that law, but he telling you you ain't got to keep nothing else? Because he a greedy, hungry bastard. That's why. You understand? That's why predominantly women in the church, because they like being told smooth things. They don't want to know the truth. Ain't no men in there because you can't slick talk no man. You know what I'm saying? You can't sleep. You know, man ain't trying to be slick talk by another man. That's why ain't no men in the church, because they know that the Christian church is a farce and is a lie. None of these laws, statutes, and commandments are done away with. You understand? I just read it to you right now. I'm going to read it again. This is the book of the commandments of God, right? And the law that endure forever. These laws endure forever. And this is the same thing that Christ taught his disciples. This is the same thing that Commander Junior Hanna teach everybody that's in ISUPK. These laws endure forever. We have to keep these forever. That's why Christ said in his own words. He said that not one jot or one tittle shall pass from this law. I'm paraphrasing. Not one jot or tittle, meaning that this law is forever. You understand? And then I think it said in Luke, I'm paraphrasing, it said it's easier for heaven and earth to pass than for black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians not to keep this law, or this law to be done away with. You understand? And that's what we have to understand, and as a people, and that's what we have to let go of religion, understand that we have a code of conduct that we are required to keep, man. And if we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, we won't have to worry about Breonna Taylor not getting justice. We won't have to worry about somebody putting their knee on George Floyd's neck. We won't have to worry about these things because we'll be above all nations because we separated ourselves by keeping these laws. That's the whole purpose of this Bible, man. That's the whole purpose of the ISUPK. We ain't out here just teaching classes just because it's fun. We ain't standing on the highways and byways because that's what we want to do on our Saturdays. We doing this because it's a commandment to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel and to command them to keep these laws and let them know they are required to keep these laws. That's the whole purpose of. We ain't doing this for no reason. You know what I'm saying? We doing this so when Christ returns, we get a crown, man, and we get put in rulership. We know what it's like to be at the bottom. That is the sole purpose of ISUPK, man. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I want to bring on first. That we have to rely on the code of conduct, which is these laws, statutes, and commandments. And matter of fact, I'm gonna get the definition of code of conduct. It's a lot here. You know what I'm saying? Let me get the definition. Code of conduct is a set of rules. You know what I'm saying? Code of conduct is a set of rules. We have rules that we can't sleep with white women. We have rules that we cannot eat pork. You know what I'm saying? That is not the other white, the good side of the white meat, or whatever the hell they try to call it. You know what I'm saying? We cannot eat shrimp, crab, lobster. You know what I'm saying? We can't eat camels. We can't eat horses and dogs. You know what I'm saying? And then we definitely can't eat bats. You understand? That's why we got the coronavirus. Because these other nations weren't given this law. They're not knowing that it's laws that the Most High gave a specific people to push on everybody else. You understand? And I'm going to get that too. I'm going to get Deuteronomy 4 and 6 and show that these laws is supposed to be wisdom. Other nations are supposed to look at us and be like, you know what? These people are understanding. They is a wise people. They don't eat bats. Why none of them got the coronavirus? You know what I'm saying? Why none of them suffering the same diseases that we suffering? And then we would tell them because we don't eat the same thing that you eat. We holy. We separate from that. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said we can't eat those things. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to keep getting his definition. Code of conduct is a set of rules outlining the norms, rules, and responsibilities or proper practices of an individual party or an organization. You being a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian, you being an Israelite, you are an individual party. Because the Lord said in Deuteronomy 7:6 that we separate from every nation. And if you keep these laws, you're going to be above everybody. You understand? So we above everybody, man. We an individual party. We not like these other nations. You understand? We our own organization. You understand? That's why the ISUPK said we not affiliated with no Hebrew Israelite group or no Christian church. We ain't affiliated with nobody, man. Because we have a code of conduct. We have set of rules. You know what I'm saying? We got rules and responsibilities. And that's what we gotta understand, man. But with that, I'm gonna drop the Apocrypha, and I'm gonna get Deuteronomy 4:6, and I'm gonna show you that when we was given this law, it was supposed to be wisdom in the sights of the other nations. Like other nations are supposed to see that we got this law, we got the commandments from God Himself. They're supposed to see that we got these laws, and it was supposed to be glorious to them. It was supposed to be wisdom in their sight. You understand? Let me get Deuteronomy 4 and chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6. Verse 6. Yeah, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. You understand? We're supposed to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. This is our wisdom and understanding in the sights of the other nations. Meaning that these other nations supposed to observe us keeping these laws, and they're supposed to be like, damn, y'all don't got nobody on drugs and nobody selling drugs. God damn, y'all ain't got no homosexuals. God damn, like ain't nobody eating octopus and shrimp, crab, lobster, and bats. Nobody's eating these things. Damn, and they're supposed to recognize that and see that we are wise and understanding people for not doing this, because when you keep these laws, you get set on high above every nation. You understand? You get set on high above every nation, so they'll see that we don't have diseases like high cholesterol, diabetes, cancer, AIDS. You know what I'm saying? No sexually transmitted diseases. They'll see all these things, and they'll be like, damn, how are y'all flourishing like this to where y'all are so healthy? How are y'all so healthy and financially? How are y'all so healthy in any way you can be healthy? And they're going to be like, damn, we would let them know we got laws against that. You understand? Then why y'all not sleeping on Asians? Asians is pretty. I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm using that as an example. You know what I'm saying? They whatever nation it is, Africans are beautiful, and they see that we have laws that prohibit us from sleeping with anybody that's not our nationality, that's not from the same nation as us. And they're supposed to be like, that's wise, because you know who did that? It started a whole religion. Abraham did. Not Abraham, Salakia, but the false prophet Muhammad did that. You know what I'm saying? The pedophile Muhammad, he did that. He was a cab driver. He was a camel driver, a camel jockey. And he picked Israelites up and took them to and fro. And he asked them some various questions every time he had Israelites in the car with him. And at this time, his people, they worship different 365 gods a year. They had a God for every single day, damn near. You understand? And after he conversated with us, he conversed with us. He seen wisdom in the way of life that he seen wisdom in how we decided to live. He seen wisdom in our way of life, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do the same thing. I want my people to worship one God. I don't want my people to eat pork. You know what I'm saying? Because pigs are scavengers. You understand? And he took what he learned from the Israelites and he implemented that to his people. You understand? That's where Islam come from. It came from trying to be like Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. You understand? But they didn't get the whole law. They didn't get the whole law. You know why? Because he can try to copy us all he want. It was not given to them. That's why we can go in this Bible. We can read this Bible and let you know that it's not only pork that we can't eat. It's shrimp, crab, lobster. You know what I'm saying? There's any other foul thing we can't eat. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we have to understand as a people. These laws, statutes, and commandments were supposed to be wisdom and understanding in the sights of the other nations. I'm going to read it some more. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6. Keep therefore and do them. I'm saying we're supposed to keep these laws and do these laws. You know what I'm saying? Because these laws was given to us in the first place. That's how we keeping them. But are you doing them though? If you so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian, you supposed to do these laws. Meaning that you're not supposed to smoke weed and pop Percocets. You can't eat shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork, even though they made this evil kingdom made it a delicacy. You ain't supposed to do. It's certain things that you cannot do. You cannot be a homosexual. You cannot line your face up and line your beard up and get liners and all that. You can't have dreads. This is what you have to understand. And once you come to this realization, then you can be woke. Because right now, if you ain't keeping these laws, and you're not ISUPK, you still sleep. You still sleep. Keep therefore and do them. For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sights of the nations. This is our wisdom and understanding in the sights of the nations. Other nations supposed to observe us, like I said, and they're supposed to be like, you know what, that is a wise and understanding people. They don't have whores. They don't sleep with children. They don't sell drugs. They don't gangbang. They don't kill each other. They don't sell each other false merchandise and fake gold and fake diamonds. They don't do none of these things to each other. And they're supposed to observe that and be like, that's wise. But right now they don't observe that from us. You understand? Right now everybody's observing how the white man is. That's why every nation come to America and to be whoever they want to be in life, whether it's a doctor or a drug dealer. Everybody comes to America to flourish, man. Because they're not observing the people that was given this law. They're not observing Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians because there's nothing to observe from us right now. We on drugs. We in poverty. You understand? We completely destroyed, man. But in the ISUPK, these other nations, they observing us. They know the ISUPK is the real deal. They observing us. You understand? And they know that we wise. You know how I know? Do you know how I know they know we wise? Because we do the same thing they do. We don't allow heathens in our group. You know what I'm saying? In our school. We don't allow you to be whoever you want to be. You have to be a man of the Lord in here. You got to be a teacher. You got to be a priest or prophet in here. You can't do what you want to do. You understand? And that's what these other nations do. Chinese, they're the biggest illegal immigrant in America, and they still flourish. And guess how they do it? They get a Chinatown, and they don't hire nobody that's Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian, or anybody that's not Chinese. And that's how this is their code of conduct that they live by, that they able to flourish off of. You know what I'm saying? So this Bible, man, these laws is how we able to do that same thing. I will never hire African, never hire Chinese, or none of the people. I'll hire my people. You understand? And that's how you able to flourish, man. By giving a damn about your people. Just like how the so-called Jewish man, the fake Jew, that's how he do it too. They don't want nobody that's not white like them living in their land or observing none of their customs. They don't want you to be like them at all. You understand? The sights of the other nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this is a great nation, is a wise and understanding people. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to hear all these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord, that came from the Lord. Like I said in Baruch 4:1, these commandments are from God. They're supposed to hear all these commandments and be like, you know what, this is a wise and understanding people. God is truly with them. These commandments did come from God. Because men go off of what makes him feel good. They don't go off of what makes them feel good like we do. They don't sleep with other men. They don't throw women away. They don't eat what they want to eat. They don't act how they want to act. They don't do drugs. And they're supposed to be like, you know what? Those laws are from God. It has to be. Because everybody else live a lawless life. They do what they want to do. But you being Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you were given laws for your protection. You were given laws to separate you from these other nations. And this is wisdom. This is understanding. Okay, drop that. We're going to get it, Leviticus chapter 11. And we're going to see what is it that we able to eat and not eat. What's lawful and what's unlawful according to this Bible. You understand? Because the Christian church, they like to tell you, man, law's done away with. Pay them tithes, though. Then you catch them in the parking lot with a pork chop in his pocket. You understand? That it's just completely ridiculous. So we gonna go over the whole. We'll try to go over the whole chapter. We're gonna go over Leviticus 11. Try to get through the whole chapter. You understand? And this is the whole. If you want to know about what you can and cannot eat, what's lawful and what's unlawful, what's an abomination and what's not, read Leviticus the 11th chapter. The whole chapter, it lets you know everything on this planet that you can and cannot eat. And we gonna get into that right now. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying unto them, speak unto the children of Israel, because these laws were only given to Israel. He didn't say speak to the whole earth. He said speak to the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. So he said, Aaron and Moses, look, gather the children of Israel and let them know, this is what you can and can't eat. You understand? Verse 3. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts shall ye eat. You understand? So you can eat a cow cheweth the cud. The cud is like grass. You can eat a cow because it's, what did it say again? Whatsoever parteth the hood, they hooves is parted. If you look at a cow's foot, they separated. They feet on each feet is separated. You understand? That's what it mean by they hooves is what it say? They parteth the hoof. That's what that means. You understand? And they chew the cud mean that they eat grass. They eat vegetation. I'm reading again. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. So the cow, the ox, you understand, the deer, the impala, you can eat these type of animals because they got cloven feet and they chew the cud. We will keep getting to it. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divideth the hood as a camel. You know what I'm saying? Because you got other animals that also eat grass and that chew the cud, and they also have part of the hood. Let me read it again. Nevertheless, shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud. So with certain animals that chew cud, just like cows do, just like ox do, just like deer do, or of them that divideth the hoof, and they also got divided hooves. But you can't eat from them because what? I'm gonna keep reading. As the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. You know what I'm saying? Camels, they would be lawful, but they not lawful to eat. You know, the Arabs, they're over there chewing them, they're over there tearing them camels up over there. I just watched the video on Facebook. He put a whole camel inside a big oven. You know what I'm saying? Outside, cooked the whole camel. You know what I'm saying? But it's unlawful, even though they chew grass, they chew the cud, they eat vegetation. They unlawful because their hooves are not divided. You understand? This is an unclean animal. Nevertheless, these shall not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divideth the hoof, as the camel, because he chewed the cud, but divideth not the hoof. His hooves are not divided. So you can't eat camels. He is unclean unto you. You know what I'm saying? But these other nations don't keep these laws, and they weren't given these laws. That's why they do whatever the hell they want to do. But you black man, you can't do that. You Hispanic, Native American, Indian, you can't live how you want to live. You know how I know? Because you try to eat camels for 30 years, 20 years straight. Guess what? You're going to die. You're going to catch cancer, high diabetes, cholesterol. You're going to catch something that you can't get rid of. You understand? Verse 5. And the coney, I'm saying the coney will be like something that's related to like the road runner. You understand? The coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean to you. And the hare, I'm saying the hare is the rabbits. You can't eat rabbits. Because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean to you. Even though these rabbits and conies, they eat grass, they not divided. The hoof is not divided. You understand? So that makes them unclean because they don't have it. Verse 8. Of the flesh, Slakia, of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. You understand? You cannot eat none of these things. You can't eat rabbits and hares and bunnies. You can't eat none of them things. I don't care if you stranded in the wilderness and you've been watching Naked and Afraid or whatever hell you watch. You understand? You cannot eat no rabbit, man. You gonna have to just go hungry or find some type of vegetation that's lawful because you can't eat no rabbits or no conies, no road runners. You can't eat none of no hogs. You can't eat none of these, man. You can't eat none of that. They are very unclean to you. And if you disobey and eat one of these things, then if you don't get put to death, you're going to catch some type of disease or rabies or something that you can't get rid of. But keep reading. Verse 7. And the swine, you know what I'm saying, even the swine is unlawful. You cannot eat a pig. Pigs are very unlawful. But you know, in this day and age, you being in America, man, it's like you can't go nowhere without smelling pork. Or you can't go eat no food without them mixing pork. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you can go to Walmart or Safeway or Kroger's, wherever you shop at, and you would try to get some food, and you will read the label and it say all beef. You know what I'm saying? But it'll say the casing is pork. That's how much of a devil we living up under. Like you'll go try to eat this food thinking it's beef, and you'll stop at beef. As soon as you see beef, you'll stop at it. But you're not knowing that it's beef, but it's cased inside a pork casing. It's in pig skin. So that makes it unlawful. You understand? But this is what type of nation that we stand right now, man. They trying to make sure that Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians don't keep the laws of God. They trying to make sure you slip up just when you thought you had it. You understand? Read verse 7 again. And the swine, though he divideth the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. You understand? You can't eat no pig, man, because these animals that don't chew the cud, guess what? They scavengers. The Lord don't have, this is what you gotta understand. The Lord don't have a broom that he can just pick up and sweep the earth when it's dirty. You understand? Sweep the bottoms of the ocean, sweep the land when it's dirty. He don't have a broom to do that. He made animals for that purpose. He made animals for that purpose. And that's why you are not allowed to eat these animals, because they are scavengers. They will eat anything. I'm pretty sure you know a pig eat anything. You know what I'm saying? Let a person who owns pigs go inside that cage and try to feed them pigs and they too hungry. They gonna eat him alive. You can throw something dead in there, they gonna eat it. You can throw trash and they gonna eat it. That's why and when America first started and in Europe and all that, you understand, before we had dump trucks and garbage trucks to come pick up our trash, they used to just let the pigs loose. They used to herd the pigs on the streets. The pigs would eat everything off the streets. Feces, dead animals, bodies, old food, junk. They eat anything. You understand? That is scavengers. So why would you want to eat something that eat anything? You understand? Because your oppressor is the devil, and he told you that this is good meat. You can eat this. It smells good. It tastes good. You understand? But once you come into ISUPK, and you find out the truth, man, you don't want to be nowhere near no pig. You understand? As far as eating it, cutting it up, a dead carcass, you don't want to be nowhere near it. You understand? Because it's unlawful, man. The Most High hate you eating pigs. You understand? I'm going to keep reading. And the swine, though he divideth the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. Pigs are unclean. You understand? This is a law that's not going to never be done away with. Don't listen to your Christian pastor. You understand? Don't listen to him. Because he know these laws ain't done away with. But he can't wait to get home and put that pork chop he got in the freezer on a skillet, on a grill. You understand? And the more you eat abominable things, and the more you eat unclean things in this kingdom, you praise for it. You understand? Like, you can be on Facebook, all you see all day is people eating shrimp and they rice and food, and they pasta pork. They going to Joe's Crab Shack. They going to Red Lobster, and they eat all, and they taking pictures of it. They posting it on their Facebook and their social medias and letting everybody know that, man, look what I'm eating. I'm big time. But really, you don't know that you are a dummy. You eating animal. You eating a spider. You understand? You eating roaches. That's what shrimp, crab, lobster is. They cousins to roaches and spiders and things like that. what I'm saying? Why would you want to eat those things? You got clean animals like goat that tastes real good. You understand? But you want to eat you want to eat what your oppressor eat. You understand? Because this means that you have money. You don't want nobody to know you broke, so you gonna spend $100 on shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork because this is what your oppressor eat, and this is a sign of, you know what I'm saying, you being rich or something, or you having money. You understand? Shrimp, crab, lobster is disgusting, man. You understand? When my grandpa used to come in there with crabs, and you know what I'm saying, we used to be scared to death. And we used to see them crabs, and he used to let them. He know we used to be scared, so we used to put them on the ground. They get to crawling, nigga. We was scared. We like, nigga, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Throw that away, and then they eat it. They cook it. You understand? Cook it alive and give it to us, and we eat it. But I never really liked it. I just ate it because my parents ate it, and my parents ate it because their parents ate it, and then just a general. It just come down every generation. You know, we got it from slavery, man. That's where that come from. But these heathens, they actually love eating these things. That's why you can go on Facebook and just be scrolling. You're gonna see something disturbing, like a Chinese eating a bat, a Chinese people eating octopus, squid. They do it's good to them. They will eat whatever moves. But if you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you got laws that prohibit you from eating certain things. And this is what you have to understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep going. Verse 8. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. Yeah, right. You cannot eat a pig, and you can't touch their carcass. Carcass means that it's dead. You can't touch unclean. You can't touch an animal that's dead, because then it's unclean to you. Even though you didn't eat it, you still unclean for touching that dead animal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have a pig as a pet. Don't get me wrong. You are allowed to have a pig as a pet. When they say you don't touch their carcass, it's not saying that you can't touch a pig. It's saying that don't touch it while it's dead. A carcass is a dead animal. So don't get that confused. You can have an animal as a pet. I mean, you can have a pig as a pet, and guess what? They damn good pets. You understand? They damn near function like dogs almost. But don't let them get too hungry. Don't let them get too hungry. You stick your hand in that pen. Ooh wee. You know what I'm saying? But look it up. There's a lot of people that got pigs as pets, but that's what they for. They're not for you to eat. They're not for consumption. You understand? You ain't supposed to be eating bacon and all that. You ain't supposed to be eating that. You understand? Verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath this. Okay, so we got what you can eat as far as the other beasts that's not inside the water, but that live on land. Like, you can eat deer, you can eat ox, you can eat impalas, you can eat cows. You understand? You can eat what else live on land? You know what I'm saying? You can eat bison. You can eat these things. You know what I'm saying? But you cannot eat a hippo. Even though they chew the cud, their hooves are not divided. You can't eat a hippo. You understand? You can eat a giraffe though. They chew the cud and their hooves is divided. You can eat a giraffe. And say you can't eat an elephant. They don't have divided hooves. You understand? You can't eat a horse. They don't got divided hooves. So you just gotta understand what divided hooves mean and chew the cud. You just gotta do your research if you don't know. You understand that if you don't know, ask priests and prophets of the Lord in ISUPK, and we'll tell you what's unlawful and what's lawful. You understand? But we got what you can eat on the land. So let's now get the sea. What you can eat in the ocean and the rivers. You know what I'm saying? In the springs. Okay, verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters. Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the water, in the seas, in the rivers, them shall ye eat. Okay, so boom, we got that out the way. You can eat whatever in the water. Oh, if it has fins and scales. If it has fins and scales, you can eat it. You can eat salmon. You can eat you know what I'm saying? But I don't really know too many fishes, but if it got fins and scales, you can eat it. You understand? Let's keep going, verse 10. And all that ye have, and all that have not fins and scales in the seas, so the animals that don't got fins and scales, this is what they say. And in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing that which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination to you. Ooh, so if they don't got fins and scales, guess what? It's an abomination to you. You can't eat shark. You can't eat dolphin. You can't eat whales. You can't eat shrimp. You can't eat crab. You can't eat lobster. You can't eat octopus. You can't eat squid. These things are unlawful. Why? Because they don't have fins and scales. They are not clean animals. They're scavengers. They will eat whatever. That's why you can't eat them. You understand? So if they don't have fins and scales, you cannot eat these things. So that's why black people, we have to stop eating shrimp, crab, and lobster. Because this nation, being up under this, being subjected under these devils, they got you thinking that this is like a delicacy, but you're not knowing that you are eating a roach. You know what I'm saying? Like black women and men, like they see a roach and try to kill it. They picking up anything near them to kill this roach, but then they're going to the kitchen and eat shrimp. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense, man. They from the same family. They scavengers. And if you don't know what a scavenger is something that eats anything. Something can just die in the ocean, sink to the bottom of the ocean, and guess what? It's going to be shrimp, crab, lobster on it, man. It's going to be shrimp, crab, lobster. These animals were made to clean the earth. That's what you have to understand. You're not supposed to eat the animals that made to clean the earth. That's why the ocean and the ecosystem and all that, that's why it's messed up to begin with. That's why it's messed up right now. It ain't just the oil spills that the devil doing, but it's because you eating the animals that's supposed to clean the water. You understand? Put some suckerfish, some catfish, and some crab and lobster and shrimp in a big fish tank. You know what I'm saying? With a lot of doo-doo and other dead fishes and stuff. Guess what? When you come back a month later, a week later, a couple days later, that fish tank gonna be cleaner than what you thought it was. It's gonna be, cleaner than how you left it. You know why? Because those animals were meant to clean the earth. You're not supposed to eat those animals. Like I said earlier, you ain't supposed to eat those animals. The Lord don't have no broom and mop that he can just go to the bottom of the ocean, and because the ocean is dirty, it gets dirty. He can't just get a broom and a mop and clean like how we clean. So he made specific animals to do that job. They have a job, they have a duty that they have to do. You understand that? They're required to do to keep this earth clean, man. But you being up under this devil, he told you that you should eat these things. You listen to the Chinese man and trying to be Buddhist, you listen to them, and you eating the animals that's supposed to clean the earth, man. And you wonder why you number one in high cholesterol and diabetes and cancer and all these different things. Because you're not supposed to eat these animals, man. So this is what you got to understand. This go back to that code of conduct, a set of rules that we're supposed to live by. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to jump and I'm going to we will keep going. Whatsoever, verse 12, whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, ye shall be an abomination to you. Verse 13, and these are they which ye shall have and these are they which ye shall have in abomination among the fowls. So we got the water and we got the land. Now we go into the air. The animals that live in the air. You understand? Because you got the sea world, you got the animal world on land, and you got the animals that live in the sky. That fly and live in the trees. It's three different worlds, okay? So we're going to get and see what's an abomination, what's clean and unclean as far as the birds. So verse 13, and these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle, the ostrich, and the offspring. Meaning, when it say the eagle and the ostrich, okay, we know the eagle is. The ostrich is like a vulture. You understand? They the same family as a vulture. And the osprey is a hawk. You ain't supposed to eat hawk, vultures, and eagles. You know why? Because they scavengers. They make to clean the earth. They're not made for you to eat them. They are not for human consumption. You know what I'm saying? They hunt animals and kill them. So keep going. Verse 14. And the vulture and the kite after its kind. So any vulture and kite after its kind, we ain't supposed to eat them. Verse 15. Every raven after its kind. You ain't supposed to eat ravens either, or anything that's related to a raven. And the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cacao, and the, which is another like vulture, and the hawk after its kind. So any hawk, vulture, raven, eagle, you're not supposed to eat none of those birds. I'm saying you ain't supposed to eat none of those birds because they are scavengers. They eat whatever. And so you're not supposed to eat them. You're supposed to be like an animal and eat whatever you want to eat or eat anything. I'm saying you're supposed to eat clean things, just like the animals that he told us that we can't eat, like deer, cow, ox, any fish that got scales and fins. Those are clean animals. They eat stuff that's clean. They won't eat a dead body. They won't eat something that's dead. They won't eat any junk. They won't eat none of that stuff. They don't eat something that's clean. You understand? That's why we are required to only eat those animals, because we are clean people. We're supposed to eat what's clean. That's it. You understand? So those are the birds that you can't eat. I'm going to jump to 16. And the owl and the nighthawk and the cacao and the hawk after its kind, and the little owl and the cormorant and the great owl. I'm saying, so any owls you can't eat at all. And the swan and the pelican and the ger eagle. So you can't eat swans or pelicans. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat none of them things. And the stork. You know, so I know you see a lot of cartoons with that. They got the stork bringing the kids down because they don't want to tell their kids where babies come from. So they got the stork bringing their children bringing the children down and the pamper. You can't eat storks either. And the heron and after its kind, and the lapwing and the bat. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat none of these mammals, man. You can't eat the lapwing or the bat either. You understand? But you guess what? The Chinese didn't get this memo. Because guess what? They ate bats, and now everybody's dying from coronavirus. The whole world is locked down right now due to coronavirus that started and was caused from people eating unlawful things. But if we had these laws, which black people do, but if if we push these laws on these other nations, they wouldn't be able to eat these animals. Because guess what? The first person to eat a bat and get put to death. You ain't supposed to eat them things, man. They made to clean the earth. You ain't supposed to eat them. But now everybody has to suffer and school their kids early in the morning. You understand? We gotta go in every store we go into. We gotta have a mask. You know what I'm saying? We gotta go through all these extra precautions just so more people won't die that already didn't die from coronavirus. All because the Chinese want to be lawless and eat bats. That's why you shouldn't eat these other animals. And I guess something just gonna happen from you eating pork or eating shrimp, crab, lobster for you to give that up too. You understand? Because black people are smart. Once you say that, man, you can't eat bats, they got the coronavirus, they give people coronavirus. Guess what? Let something happen about pork, man. The pork give you this type of virus. Don't eat it. You understand? Black people gonna leave pork alone. Sure, they're gonna leave shrimp, crab, lobster alone if they understood that it gives them something. But we have to be threatened with death. We have to be threatened with disease for us to want to listen, instead of just listening to the Most High. We're supposed to just be like, oh man, oh that stove hot, I shouldn't touch it. Okay, I'm not gonna touch it. But that's not how we live. We live life like, oh, that stove hot. Are you sure? I'm gonna touch it, and then you burn your whole hand. That's how we live life, man. And we should not live like that. And we got living life like that from following heathens, man. We're trying to be like devils. That's why we live life like that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to come back to your code of conduct. You understand? You have to come back to serving the Lord and keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Because like I said in Deuteronomy 4 and 6, this is your wisdom in the sights of the other nations. Other nations supposed to see that you don't got the coronavirus from eating bats, and they're supposed to be like, damn, they smart for that. We had to learn the hard way. They didn't. They smart. You understand? That's how you should live your life, man. I don't care how long you've been eating shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork, and all that. What the Lord say? What's more important? Your own evil lust, or what your grandmama said, or what the Lord said? How much do you really love the Most High like you say you do? You understand? That's why we no cowards, no excuse in here. We stop doing everything to serve the Most High because we love the Most High. You know how I know we love the Most High? Because we love our brothers. That's why we tell you that you can't eat these things. Regardless of how you feel, you can't eat them. You know what I'm saying? And the spawn and the pelican and the eagle and the stork and the heron after its kind and the lapwing and the bat, all fowls that creep going upon all fours shall be an abomination to you. You know what I'm saying? So we can't eat ducks. We can't eat swan. We can't eat eagles, hawks, vultures. You know what I'm saying? We can't eat ostriches. We can't eat none of these things. But you can eat a chicken. You can eat a dove. You can eat a turkey. You can eat these things. You understand? You can eat pigeons. You can eat those things. Those are all lawful animals that fly. But anything else, man, you can't eat no crow. You can't eat a seagull. You can't eat those things because they're scavengers. Those animals made to clean the earth, man. It's just that simple. Verse 21. Yet these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that go forth on all fours, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Even those of them ye may eat the locust after its kind. You know what I'm saying? And the bald locust after its kind, and the beetle after its kind, and the grasshopper after its kind. So you can eat beetles, grasshoppers, I'm saying locusts. You can eat these things. But you cannot eat spiders. You cannot eat centipedes. You cannot eat flies. You can't eat maggots. You can't eat daddy long legs. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat scorpions. You can't eat those things. They're unlawful. But all other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. So any other bug with 4 feet that fly, that's not a grasshopper, that's not what did it say? Salakia, a grasshopper or locust or beetle or any of these things, you cannot eat them. They're unlawful to you. The carcass of every beast shall Salakia, the carcasses of every beast which divideth the hoof is not cloven footed, nor cheweth the cud are unclean unto you. Even one that touches them shall be unclean. So like I said, you can't eat hippopotamus. You can't eat elephants. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat rhinos. You can't eat camels. You can't eat these things. They unlaw. You can't eat bears. You can't eat jaguars and lions and cats. You can't eat those things. They unlawful to you. And if you even touch their carcass, their dead body, you unlawful. You unclean. Instead, I'm keep going. I'm gonna jump down to verse 27. And whosoever goeth upon his paws among all manner of beasts shall go on all 4. Those are unclean unto you. Whosoever touches their carcass shall be unclean until eat. You know what I'm saying? So you can't eat cats and bears and Tasmanian devils and anything that's on all 4s, man. You can't eat it. You can't eat it, man. You can't eat baboons. You can't eat monkeys. You can't eat none of those things. Understand? You can't eat sloths. You can't eat it. I'm gonna go to verse 28. He that beareth of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean the even to you. These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things creep upon the earth, the weasels and the tortoise after it. So you can't eat rats, you can't eat weasels, ferrets, mice, turtles, tortoise. You can't eat none of these things, especially them damn mice or the mouse and them rats. Because we know the Asian community, they big with eating everything that's unlawful. You understand? That's why I don't even go to them. Like you think you in there eating some chicken and some orange chicken and beef and all that, man. They chopping rats up eating it. That's why the scriptures say you can't eat it. know what I'm saying? That's why in Isaiah 66, what does Isaiah 66 and 17 say? It say some mouse. It said the mouse is unclean because that's what that's being sold all through our communities, all at these if it's not an American-made Chinese store, and I don't put it past them, American-made Chinese store guarantee you eat rat. That's why you like, damn, this shit tastes so good. I ain't never sluck it. This tastes so good. I ain't never had this before. You know what I'm saying? Because it's rat. You know what I'm saying? These Asians love rat. They love mice. They love mouse. I'll keep reading. Verse 31. These are unclean to you, all that creep. Whatsoever doeth touch them, when they be dead, ye shall be unclean until the evening. You don't even touch their dead bodies. You're going to be unclean until the evening. But you can touch a deer. You can touch a cow's carcass and you still clean. Because those animals are clean. They're lawful. But if you touch any one of these animals' dead body, you unclean. And the ferret and the chameleon and the lizard and the snail and the mole. So you can't eat mole rats. I'm saying you can't eat chameleons. You can't eat lizards. You can't eat snails. You can't eat none of these things. Don't even try it. They unlawful. You understand? They're unlawful to you. And these are unclean to you among that creep. Whatsoever doeth touch them, are you unclean. Verse 32. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, do fall, it shall be unclean, whether it be any vessel of wood, remnant, skin, or sap, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until evening. So shall be cleansed. But then they go on and show you that if it even touch any of your belongings, whether it's your clothes, your hat, your pot, your pants, anything, it's unclean. You got to wash your clothes if these animals that's unclean touch them. You understand? And you unclean until the evening. Okay, so now I'm going to drop to 39. And if any beast of which ye may eat die, he have touched the carcass thereof, shall be unclean unto you. So if you got an animal, you capture an animal and it died, that animal's unclean to you. You cannot eat it. If you didn't kill it and it just died, and when you picked it up it was dead, it's unclean to you. You cannot eat that animal. You understand? Okay, verse 40, we go on to verse 42. 41. And every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination. It shall not be eaten. So what are creeping things that creep on the earth? Snakes. It was one of them. Whatsoever goeth upon the belly, and whatsoever goeth upon all fours, or whatsoever have more feet among all creeping things that creep upon the earth, then them ye shall not eat, for they are an abomination. So you cannot eat snakes. You know, you see a lot of videos of these Chinese people skinning snakes and cooking them. You can't eat snakes and centipedes and all these other animals, man, and insects. And, you know what I'm saying? You can't eat them. They're unlawful to you. These are unlawful animals. You understand? Let's go to 44. For I am the Lord your God. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy. So we're not supposed to eat these things because we're supposed to be holy, like Deuteronomy 7:6 said. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be holy. What do holy mean? Holy mean to be separate, man. We're supposed to be separate from these other nations. We ain't supposed to do nothing like them. That's why I said in Deuteronomy 4:6, this is our wisdom and understanding in the sights of the other nations. Because we're supposed to not do what they do. Because they wasn't given this law, so guess what? They live a lawless life, so guess what? They're going to do and eat whatever makes them feel good and whatever tastes good to them. But us, on the other hand, we got laws against certain things. We're going to keep those laws because we don't want to anger our God and we don't want to catch diseases. We don't want to be destroyed. You understand? This is our wisdom and sights of the other nations, man. You understand? This is what makes us holy. For I am holy. Because not only are we holy, but the Lord holy. That's why we holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. You ain't supposed to eat nothing that creepeth upon the earth. That's unlawful. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do, you're going to defile yourself and you're going to provoke the Lord to anger. For I am the Lord that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt to your God. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the beast, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moves in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean, between the beasts that they may be eaten, and the beasts that may not be eaten. You know what I'm saying? This was what Leviticus 11 about. It's about the clean and the unclean, the beast that you can't eat, and the beast that you can eat. You know what I'm saying? This is the law of these things. And these are the laws that we are not keeping today, and that's why we destroy. You understand? That's why we destroy, man. That's why black people, they think high cholesterol and diabetes running their family. No, I don't run your family. It's because of your diet. It's because of what you eat, man. That's why you suffering these things. You got to take shots and insulin shots and all this stuff, and you on diabetes and stuff because it's because of what you eat. You're not eating lawful, man. You're not eating lawful. So when you gotta start eating lawful, and you won't have to worry about these things. You understand? I'm gonna get Deuteronomy 14:1. I'm gonna show you. It's in this Bible. So it said this is the law of what's clean and what's not clean. You know what I'm saying? Because your Christian pastor, he like telling you that you can do whatever you want to do, but we need to observe what the Israelites observed in the Old Testament, even in the New. But I'm just saying the Old Testament. You understand? We need to observe the laws that they observed and the things, the traditions and customs that they observed in their time. And that's how we will be able to flourish. You understand? Because you ain't supposed to be eating no pigs or none of that. But I'm going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 1. I mean, just like it. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 1. Ye are the children of the Lord your God. I'm saying, you black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, we are children of the Lord, our God, not everybody else's God, but our God. We keep reading. Ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes of the dead. So, like, yeah, you see 14:1. Okay, I'm going to go to 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all nations that are upon the earth. The Lord chose us to be a peculiar people above all nations that are upon the earth. And how did he choose us? By giving us law, statutes, and commandments. How are we a peculiar people above all nations? By keeping these law, statutes, and commandments. It's that simple. You understand? Verse 3. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. You can't eat what's abominable. You understand? You can't eat camels. You can't eat dogs, cats, bats, snakes. You can't eat these things. Rats. You can't eat none of these things. They're abominable. Pig. You understand? You can't eat pork. You can't eat shrimp, crab, lobster. All these are abominable things, man. These are the beasts which ye shall not eat. The ox. Let me select it. These are the beasts which ye shall eat. The ox, the sheep, and the goat. You understand? The ox, sheep, goat, anybody that got divided the hoof and chew the cud, you can eat. You know, so you can eat the ox, which is the cousins of cows, the sheep, goat, ram, what else? You know what I'm saying? You can eat those things, man. Those things are lawful. Impala, deer, you can eat those things. Verse 5. The hart and the roebuck and the fallow deer and the wild goat and the pyrogar and the wild ox and the chamus. Verse 6. And every beast that parteth the hoof and cleaveth the cleft into two claws and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that ye shall eat. So if they got two claws, I'm saying like a cow got, or an ox got, or a deer got, they got two separate like claw looking things, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that ye shall eat. You can eat them if they got them. And they chew grass, you can eat them. But what chew grass? Camels chew grass, you can't eat them. That's why you gotta be careful. Hippopotamus chew grass, but you can't eat them. The giraffe chew grass, you can eat them because they got hooves, divided hooves. You understand? Verse 7. Nevertheless, these ye shall not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divideth the cloven hoof, as the camel and the hare and the coney, for they chew the cud, but divideth not the hoof, therefore they are unclean unto you. And the swine, because it divideth the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcasses. You understand? So, like I said, pigs are unclean, man. You cannot eat a pig. You cannot eat pigs. I know you've been taught contrary, and you grew up eating them, and it's not too late. Start keeping the laws of God. You know what I'm saying? Change this generational curse that's on our people, that's on your specific family, by just keeping the laws. It's simple. Stop trying to always do what make you feel and what tastes good to you. Do what the Lord wants, man. And by you doing this is what's going to separate you from every other nation. This will separate ISUPK from everybody. From any fake Israelite group, from any church Christian, from anybody, man. Because we actually love the Lord and our brothers, and we do what the Lord requires and says to do. It's that simple. It ain't even no high-tech information. It's simple. You understand? We keep reading. And the swine, because it divideth the hood, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcasses. Like I said, you can have a pig as a pet. You know what I'm saying? But you're not supposed to eat a pig. The animal don't have a broom and a mop. I mean, the Lord don't have a broom and a mop to clean the earth. So he made certain animals to clean the earth. The animals, majority of the animals is unclean. They are made to clean the earth. That's why you should not eat them. You understand? Because you eat what's dirty on this earth. So, let me go to verse 9. These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales shall ye eat. And whatsoever have not fins and scales, ye may not eat. It is unclean unto you. So if it got fins and scales that's in the water, these are the animals just in the water. If it got fins and scales, you can eat them. You know what I'm saying? You can eat bass, you can eat salmon, you can eat, you know what I'm saying, tilapia, you can eat all these things. But if it don't got scales and fins, you can't eat it. You can't eat a shark. They got fins, but guess what? They don't have scales. You can't eat a dolphin. You can't eat a whale. You understand? You can't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster. They don't have fins and scales. You can't eat catfish. Even though it got fins, it does not have scales. These animals are unclean. They are unclean animals. You can't eat them. You can't eat, oh, this gonna hurt black people heart. You can't eat tuna. I don't care what white man say, man, they got microscopic scales. Man, ain't no scales on that tuna, man. I don't give a damn about no microscopic, none of that shit. Stuff they talking about. Tuna ain't got scales, so you can't eat it. It's simple. You know what I'm saying? But these are things that's in the water that you can't eat. You can't eat crawdads. You can't eat these things. You know what I'm saying? If you want to eat anything that's in the water, that's an animal, it has to have scales and fins. If it don't have that, it's unclean. That's easy. That's easy. But these are, let me see, verse 9. These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales shall you eat. And whatsoever have not fins and scales ye may not eat. It is unclean to you. See, of all clean birds ye shall eat. So this is the birds now. But all these are they of which ye shall not eat. The eagle, the ostrich, which is the vulture, the osprey, which is a hawk, and the gledge, and the kite, and the vulture after its kind. So any type of duck, goose, geese, you know what I'm saying, vulture, hawk, raven, eagle, none of those birds are clean. Ostrich, you know what I'm saying, but the turkey and the chicken, the dove, the pigeon, oh yeah, they good to go. You can eat them. I'm saying you can eat them. And the raven after its kind, and the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cacao, and the cow after its kind, the owl, the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the eagle, and then so pretty much any birds that you see commonly, you can't eat the birds. You understand? And the stork and the heron after its kind, and after every creeping thing that flieth is unclean unto you, that ye shall not be eaten. But of all clean fowls ye may eat. Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it, Slacky, thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates. You know what I'm saying? So not only you can't eat these unclean birds and animals in the water and animals on the land, but if one of these animals die, you can't eat it. But guess what you can do? Thou shalt not give it into the Slacky, verse 21. Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. So if any one of these animals that's unclean or clean die from itself, don't eat it. You know what I'm saying? If it died because if it died and you didn't kill it, don't eat it. You know what I'm saying? Throw it away. If you can't throw it away, you don't want to throw it away, this is what you do. Thou shalt not give it into the stranger that is, let me select it. Thou shalt give it into the stranger that is in thy gates, that he may eat it. You know what I'm saying? You can give whatever dead animal that you found on the side of the road or that's almost clean. You can give it to strangers. You can give it to the Asian, the African. You know what I'm saying? You can give it to the Chinese. You can give it to the white man, but you can't give it to nobody that's black, Hispanic, and then American Indians. These are laws that let you know that we don't look at ourselves as equal as everybody else. You understand? Because this said you can't give it to our people, but give it to those other people. You understand? In thy gates, that he may eat it, or thou mayest sell it unto an alien. You can sell it to another nation and get money from it, but you can't sell something that's already dead to your people and get a profit from it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's against the law. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not see a kid in his mother milk. And so you can't do this to your people, but you can do that to somebody else. You know, so you can do that to somebody else, and it don't even matter. And this is what these Christian pastors is not teaching you, man. They teach you like you listen to your Christian pastor trying to find God is destroying you. Because he's telling you that all these laws are done away with. You can do whatever you want to do. And guess what? You being destroyed behind that, man. You being destroyed behind that because guess what? You eating whatever you want to eat. You doing whatever you want to do. You doing what? And if you don't have laws, if you don't have a code of conduct, you know what I'm saying? You live in lawless, guess what? You're going to do whatever you want to do. You're going to do whatever makes you feel good. You know? But when you find out that you an Israelite, then you cannot do those things no more, man. You got to sacrifice. You can't do these things no more. You got to follow the Lord. You got to follow after the example Christ gave us, man. And this is what's going to put us on top of every nation. It's not nothing hard to ask. This is what's going to put us above every single nation, man. And this is what we have to understand as a people, as a whole. Because these Christian pastors, they're not teaching us. They teach the laws done away with because they want to do whatever they want to do. They don't care about what the Most High say. They want to eat whatever they want to eat. Sleep with whoever they want to sleep with. Tell you, sex ain't marriage. They want to do all these other abominable things. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get Isaiah chapter 66 and 17, and I'm gonna show you that these Christian pastors are like heathens almost, man. They do whatever make them feel good. We will get Isaiah chapter 66 and 17. Okay. Isaiah chapter 66 verse 17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst, you know what I'm saying, eating swine's flesh and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. Yo, Christian pastor, you know what they do? They sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree. They sanctify and purify themselves by telling you that these laws are done away with. They sanctify themselves by telling you that, man, they got the knowledge of this Bible. You know what I'm saying? You can do what you want to do. Listen to me. I'm pure. I'm sanctified. You know what I'm saying? I'm a holy man. I believe in the Lord. They tell you all these things, but meanwhile, they eat shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork. They go into these Chinese restaurants and they order, unknowingly, they order about mice and rats and all that. You understand? And this scripture is basically saying that they're gonna pay for that, man. They're gonna pay for telling you these Christian pastors and these people that's in the seat of leadership, got a position of leadership. They gonna pay for telling Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians these laws are done away with. They gonna pay for that, man. Because if it weren't for this Christian church, we wouldn't suffer half of the things that's plaguing our communities. We wouldn't suffer none of these things. But we suffer these things because we trying to find God. And in the midst of trying to find God, we have a wolf in sheep clothing that just wants your money, so he can care less if you trying to seek God. He can care less if you care about the commandments. He going to make you feel good. He want to speak to you smooth things. So guess what he going to do? You can do whatever you want to do. God still loves you. And that's not true, man. That is a total opposite. God hates you if you try to think that you can do what you want to do. And that's why the Lord said what he said right here. I'm going to read it again. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves. I'm saying you sanctify yourself, purify yourself, saying that you can do whatever you want to do, eat what you want to eat, live how you want to live. This is what's going to happen. In the garden behind one tree, in the midst eating swine's flesh, eating pig. You know what I'm saying? You teaching them, you telling these people that you know about God, and they look at you as as a man of the Lord, so they didn't confide in you. And you supposed to be teaching them about God, but you ain't keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. You eating pork in the lobby. You got a pork chop in the car from this morning. You understand what I'm saying? Guess what's going to happen? Shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. You know what I'm saying? They shall be consumed together with that unclean animal that they eat. They're going to be consumed with that same lust that they have. They're going to be consumed with that same lust. And this is what we have to understand. And like what it say, I'm paraphrasing, through terror of the Lord, we persuade men. You're supposed to know that the Lord is a terrible power, and you're supposed to repent. Repent means turn away from. You're supposed to turn away from whatever it is that the Lord saying that you cannot do. You're supposed to turn away from that act. And that's how you be forgiven. That's how you repent. You understand? Because if you don't, you're going to be what? Consumed together, said the Lord. You're going to be consumed with those abominable things that you eat. And you're going to be consumed together with your lust and your evil ideology. You understand? But that I'm going to go into second, man. We're going to get back into the Apocrypha. I'm going to get second Maccabees chapter 7. And we're going to read about how our ancestors took keeping these laws of the Most High serious. Like our ancestors took keeping these laws, especially in the time of Maccabees, which we finna get into. They took keeping these laws special, man. They took keeping these laws as something. It wasn't just nothing to them. They didn't care. Like they had a backbone, man. They didn't go off their own evil lust. They loved the Lord. Because right now, it was, first off, we said it was a time that our ancestors wasn't able to keep the high holy days and keep any holy day or keep any laws of God. It was against the law of the land. But right now in America, it's not against the law of the land for you to tell everybody that you the real Jew of the Bible. For you to tell everybody that those laws, it's laws against eating shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork, and any other thing, catfish, or anything that we're not supposed to eat. It's laws against these things. There is not a law of the land that prohibits you from speaking out and pushing the Lord's laws and doing what you're supposed to do as a man. There's no law against that in this land. But it was once upon a time that it was laws against our nation, that we can't even profess ourselves to be Jews or the God's chosen people, or listen and observe and do these laws, statutes, and commandments. We had to live as the heathen. You understand? But guess what? It was certain men in those times, even though it was a law of the land. Like if you was to see somebody saying, "Hey man, we don't eat pork," or "I ain't buying pork because it's unlawful," they will put that man to death. You understand? Or if they gave us food and we didn't want to eat it because it was unlawful, we was getting put to death for these things. You understand? It was certain men that didn't give a damn. They would rather die than disobey the Lord. You understand? But with your Christian pastors, these evil bastards, they want you to do whatever it is that you want to do. And nobody's even pushing on them that you have to keep, don't try to keep God's laws. They willingly not keeping God's laws, and then telling you that they done away with. That's how much of a coward these Christian pastors is, man. And anybody that's a Christian, you understand? Because when you really read this Bible and you pick it up, it's laws in here, man, that was given to us from God. There's certain things that you can and cannot do, but we don't care. We don't want to observe these laws. We'd rather be like the heathen. So we're going to go over the story, a quick story right quick, and we're going to show you that it was men that they just wanted to observe what the Lord said. And that's even if it meant they had to die, then disobey the Lord, or live lawless, and live an unclean life. If they had to die, then so be it. We're going to read about men like that, men of valor. You understand? Men of war. So with that, I'm going to get Maccabees chapter, 2 Maccabees chapter 7. And it came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh. You understand? So it was seven men, including their mom, 8 people in total. It was took, and they was compelled by the king. At this time, really, this is not our king, but this was the Edomite. This was a so-called white man who was telling us that we had to eat swine's flesh. We had to eat pig because they knew it was against our culture. It was against our way of life to eat pigs, man. But they said, no, you gonna eat this pig. This is what this white man told them, and were tormented with scorns and whips. And they tormented these brothers because they didn't want to eat pig. They tormented these brothers for not listening to them and listening to the Most High. We will keep going. But one of them that spoke first said thus, what wouldst thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. I'm saying this is one of the brothers, one of the 7 brothers that was took by these Edomites, that was took by these white people. He said, man, what you want to learn from us? What you want with us? Oh, you want us to eat that pig? Hey, check it out. We would rather die than eat that pig. You can torment us, torture us, do whatever you got to do. We will die than rather eat that pig that you got right there. You know what I'm saying? We would rather die and come back, man. I'm going to keep reading. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot, which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the uttermost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. You know what I'm saying? So he heated up some hot iron, and he was like, man, the first nigga that talked, they burned him and cut his tongue out and cut his body in half in front of all his other 6 brothers and mom. Since he said he'd rather die than eat this pig. Since he said that he would rather die than disobey his God, kill him for that. But not only just kill him fast, torment him, cut his tongue out, and cut his body in half. This is what these white people was doing to us. This is what they had to do to force us to eat pig. To force us to eat something that's unclean. You understand? But then now you got your Christian pastors who ain't being forced. And they telling you the law's done away with. Do what you want to do. I can eat pork. Ain't nothing wrong with pork. You understand? That is disgusting, man. It is a slap in the face to all your ancestors, man. You completely disgusting, man, if you eat shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork. You disgusting, man, and you hate God. Don't pray. Don't do none of that stuff because he don't hear your prayer. Don't put your hands up and, man, God, then don't do none of that. Don't even say God, even though that ain't his name. Don't do none of that because you're a hypocrite, you fake, you false, and the Lord hates you for not obeying his law, statutes, and commandments. Because you too busy being indoctrinated with Christianity and listening to these heathens and listening to their false God than actually listen to a priest and prophet of the Lord. That actually know this Bible and was taught this Bible like the scriptures say you have to be taught. You understand? I tell you that you cannot eat these things, and if you do, the Lord hates you. Instead of listening to men like that, you listen to somebody that make you feel good, man. So to hell with you, man, and everything. Because it's a slap in the face to see their brothers that kept this law even being tormented. You know what I'm saying? It's a slap in the face to see that they kept this law even being tormented. And then you got brothers living today that's saying that, man, to hell with that law. Jesus died for everybody. That is disgusting. That is literally disgusting, man. And I know y'all take it as a joke. It's a game. You know what I'm saying? It's not that serious. It's just food. It's just an animal. But it's that serious. It's that serious. You understand? I'm gonna keep reading. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans, and it's like in verse 4, which forthwith being heated, and commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the uttermost parts of his body, and rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. Verse 5. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire, and to be fired in the pan. And as the vapor of his pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manually, saying this, the Lord God looketh upon us, and in trust have comforted in us. And Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants. And I'm saying, meaning that he said, I know I just watched my brother get cut up. I watched his legs get cut up, his arms get cut up. I watched them throw his body in there in the oven to burn to death. We just watched that, but guess what? The Lord is satisfied with that. The Lord is satisfied with you sacrificing yourself to not be unlawful. You understand? To not eat something that's unclean. The Lord is satisfied with that. That's what type of God we serve. You understand? That's what type of God we serve. Verse 6. The Lord look upon us, and in truth have comforted in us. You understand? The Lord, look, he see what's going on, and he comforted in us, man. Salakia, verse 7. So when the first was dead after this manner, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. So after they killed the first brother, they brought the second brother to be funny. Like, let's see how far, let's see how long this lasts. They told me they want to keep the laws they got. Let's see how long they stick with this. After we just did all that to the first one, the second one gonna eat this pork. He gonna eat this pork. Watch. That's basically what they saying. They mocking him. Verse 7. So when the first was dead after this manner, they broke the second to make him a mocking stock. They brought the second one to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with his hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? So they pulled the skin, including his hair. They scalped him basically, and took all his whole skin and hair off his head, scalped him. And they said, hey, are you gonna eat this pork, or do you want us to torture your whole body? Are you in enough pain to eat this pork? You know what I'm saying? Do you really believe in your God that much? You know what I'm saying? Let's see how much you really believe in your God. That's what these devils, all these devils, man. And to think that the Christian church said God loved everybody. The Lord hate the men that did this, and he gonna hate them forever. You understand? Like, that's crazy. Verse 8. But he answered in his own language and said, no. He said, la'ah. You understand? No, la'ah, I'm still not eating it. Do what you got to do. La'ah, I'm still not eating that pork, man, because it's unclean. To hell with you. That's what he said. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order. So after he said no, he received the next torment in order. As the former did. Verse 9. And when he was at his last gasp, he said, thou like a fury takest us out of this present life, but the King of the world shall rise us up, who have died for his laws unto everlasting life. You know, so he said, yeah, you killing me. I know I'm dead, and I'm satisfied with dying, because guess what? Our Lord gonna raise us up. We're gonna be born again. For keeping these laws and not listening to you, you devil, we're gonna be born again. That's how we feel in the ISUPK. We're gonna be born again, man. If we die before Christ's return, we're going to be born again for keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Even though we got devils that's telling you that shrimp, crab, and lobster is a delicacy. You got your Christian pastor teaching that you can eat whatever you want to eat. You understand? The Lord we're going to be reborn again for keeping these laws. Slakia, who have died for his law everlasting life. Verse 10. After him was a third made a mocking stock. So after they killed the first two, the third one came. And after the third made a mocking stock, and when was a and Slakia. And when he was required, he put out his tongue and that right soon holding forth his hand manually, and said courageously, These I had formed, Slakia, he said, These I had from heaven, and for his law I despised them, and from him I hope to receive them again. You understand? He said, man, these laws I got from heaven, man. And I despise anything that's against these laws. And I can't wait to be reborn again to receive these laws again. That's what he said. Verse 12. Insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, from that for that he nothing regarded the pains. I meaning he didn't even give a damn about being in pain. He said, I ain't eating that pork. I'm keeping the Lord's law, just like my two other brothers did when you killed them. I'm keeping this law like them. We ain't going out. You understand? We ain't no cowards. We ain't weak. We ain't got no excuse for being in pain. We keeping these laws, man. That's what he said. Verse 13. Verse 13. Now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth like manner. So after the third one was dead, they tormented and what is it? And mangled the fourth manner. So the fourth brother that came up, they tormented him also for not eating pork. Verse 13. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, It is good being put to death by men, to look for hope from God, to be raised up again by him. See, he said, you see that? I'm going to read that again because that's heavy. So when he was ready to die, he said this. So on the verge of him finna die from being tormented by these white devils, he said, it is good being put to death by men. He said it's a good thing being put to death for keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. To look for hope from God, to be raised up by him. To look for hope. I got hope now. For keeping these laws in this time, not right now, I got hope to be raised up from God for keeping these laws. You understand? As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. He said, but as for you, as for all y'all that's tormenting me, especially you ain't gonna have no resurrection of life. You understand? We finna be reborn again. You know what I'm saying? Because reincarnation is real. It is in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Christ reincarnated about 5 times. If you didn't know that, but that's a whole other topic. But he said we're gonna be reborn again. But you ain't gonna be reborn. You ain't gonna be reborn like us. We ain't tripping. Verse 15. Afterwards they brought the fifth also and mangled him. Then looked into the king and said, Thou hast power over men. It's like it. Then looked he unto the king. So they brought the fifth brother out there. They killed the fourth one. And this is what he said unto the king. Thou hast power over men. Thou art corruptible. Thou doest what thou wilt. He said, you disgusting, you foul, you corrupt. You do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of God. He said, but don't think that God don't see this. Don't think that God not going to repay you for what you doing to Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians. Don't think that God going to forgive you for that. Verse 17, but abide a while and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. I'm saying these white men, I'm saying who pushes all these agendas on black people, them and they seed, they're going to be tormented. When Christ return, they're going to be tormented, man. They're going to be made as slaves, just like how we were slaves. But they're going to be forced to eat something that's unlawful. They're going to eat something that's lawful that they don't want to eat. You understand? They're going to be slaves again. They're going to get tormented just like how we was tormented in their kingdom. Verse 18, after him also they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, Be not deceived without cause. So after they killed the fifth one, they brought the sixth one. And this is what the sixth one said. Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God. Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us. He said, you don't get too caught up in yourself thinking that you captured us and conquered us and you torment us because you able to do this. He said, the Lord, he said, our God did this. You ain't getting no credit for this. Our God did this for being disobedient. Our God, just like how our God sent us to America as slaves for 400, 500 years for being disobedient, our God did this to us. The white man just didn't come take us because he was strong and he was powerful. You know what I'm saying? The Lord did this to us for being disobedient, man. That's why everything we go through in America, it happens for being disobedient. And this is the same thing he's telling them. Don't think that you was able to kill 6 of my brothers and me because you raw like that. You know what I'm saying? The Lord doing this because we was disobedient to him, man. As a people, not because we was disobedient, but us as a nation was disobedient. That's why we suffering. It ain't got nothing to do with you. I know it ain't personal. That's what he's telling them. Verse 19. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape punishment. You know what I'm saying? He said, but don't think that because you killing God people, that this gonna go and answer. Don't think that you're gonna escape your punishment. I know we living on our punishment for disobeying God. Yeah, it had to be me, my 7 brothers, and my mom. But guess what? You're not gonna escape your punishment either. You're gonna wish you did. But we don't wish we did because we know we're gonna be reborn again. We know why this is happening. But in your time, you ain't gonna know why. You understand? You and your seed, y'all gonna be slaves and you're not gonna know why. You understand? You're gonna be tormented too, whipped, and you're not gonna know why. Verse 20. But the mother was marvelous above all and worthy and honorable memory. It's like it. But the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honorable memory. He said even their mom was with it. Even their mom was really focused on keeping these laws of God. You know what I'm saying? For despite that they was telling her that she was gonna die if she don't listen to them. For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day, she bared a good courage because of the hope that she had in the land. I mean, the hope that she had in the Lord. So like it. You know what I'm saying? She said, even though she watched all her sons die, she said it was a good thing and she still had faith in the Lord. She didn't lose courage like, damn, I don't want to die. I care about my life. I don't want to die. She said, man, my sons did a good thing, man. They had courage, man. They had hope in the Lord. Verse 21. Yeah, she exhorted every one of them in her own language filled with courageous spirits and stirring up the womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. She said it to them. So she stirred up her thoughts with a manly stomach, meaning that she stomached what she just witnessed happen to her sons. And this is what she responded and said to these devils, these white men. I cannot tell. She said, I cannot tell how ye come into my womb, for I neither. No, this is what she said to her son. To my womb, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you, but doubtless the Creator of the world formed the generation of man, and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and live again. She said, even though you came through my womb and I watched you grow to be this man that you is today, and I'm watching you die, guess what? The Lord made all this possible. The Lord did everything that we suffered through and that we didn't suffer through. And guess what? You're going to be reborn again. And hopefully I'm able to know you again when you're reborn. You know what I'm saying? This is the power of this Bible. And she now regarded not, and she's like it, and found out the beginning of all things will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again. You know, so she said, with the mercy of the Most High for you keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments and not eating this pork, you know what I'm saying, the mercy of him, you're going to be reborn again. You did a good job, son. And ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake. You know what I'm saying? So she said, y'all didn't do this because y'all cared about your own life or y'all was embarrassed or y'all was anything. Y'all did this for the law. Y'all did this because y'all cared about the Most High's laws, man. And that is a courageous thing to do. That was she telling them her son, her only son left in their language. Let's see, let me keep reading. What was that, man? Oh yeah, verse 24. Now Antiochus, thinking himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachable speech, while the young was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both a rich and happy man if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, and that also he would take him from the friend and trust him with affairs. You understand? He said, so now he waited till the last brother, the youngest brother, was getting tormented, and he told him, man, I look at, if you eat this pork, if you eat this pig, all you gotta do is eat this pig. That's all I'm asking y'all. Why would y'all rather die than eat this pig? Look at, man, if you eat this pig, I will make you rich, man. You're gonna be rich, and I'm not gonna kill you if you eat this pig. I'm gonna read that again. Now Antiochus, thinking himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachable speech, so he was looking at himself to be despised. After all these brothers basically like, man, to hell with you, I'd rather die. He was looking at himself to be despised and had a reproachable speech, right? Whilst the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths. So he made promises to him, the young man. Like, man, look, I promise you, if you eat this little bitty piece of pork, if you eat this pork, this is what I'm going to do. That he would make him both a rich and a happy man. I'm going to make you a rich man. I'm going to make you a happy man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to have to worry about nothing if you eat this pork and you just go against the laws of your God. If he would turn from the laws of his fathers, and that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with affairs. She said, if you just stop listening to the laws that have been handed down to y'all from your fathers, don't listen to what your father taught y'all. Don't listen to none of these things. You understand? If you listen to me instead of the laws of your God, I'm gonna make you rich. I'm gonna make you famous. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna trust you with going with my affairs, with dealing with other nations and being in charge of things. I'm gonna trust you, man. But first you gotta eat this pork. If you eat this pork, I'll make sure whatever you want in life is yours. If you eat this pork, he's telling this man this after he already killed all his brothers. So let's see how this story unfolds. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother. So he said, so the young man didn't hearken to him. He was like, "La, I'm not listening to you. You gotta kill me. Just like how you killed my 6 brothers, that's how I want to die. I want to go out in glory, man. I want to die like that." That's what he told him. So he said, but when the young man would not in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. So he said, man, he ain't listening to me. So he called his mother near. He's like, look, man, counsel him and tell him that I will give him whatever he want to get, and tell him how good this will be. If he just eat this pork, tell him how rich he will be and how this is a good thing. He called his mom over to tell the son that. You know what I'm saying? And when he heard he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son. So when he told her, man, do these things, man, just do it for me. I know I killed your sons. They don't matter though. They deserve death because they wouldn't listen. You know what I'm saying? Just tell them how good it be. Eat this pork. To go over there and tell him. So after he exhorted her with many words, she said, okay, man, I'll go tell him. Verse 27. But she bound herself towards but she bound herself towards him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spoke in her country's language on the matter. So she laughing. She said, he didn't kill all my sons. He want me to try to come over here and convince you to not keep God's laws. Okay, so this is what she spoke to her son in the Hebrew. Oh, my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and have thee sucked 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. He said, my son, have pity on me for you being born in this time right now. I'm raising you up under these devils, man, and they killing you in front of me. They killed your brothers. Have pity on me, man. Verse 28. I beseech you, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth and all that is therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Verse 29. Fear not this tormentor. She said, don't fear this tormentor. Don't fear this devil. Go ahead, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death. Go out, she said, don't fear this tormentor. And he gonna torment you probably worse than what he did to your brothers. But guess what? Don't fear him. Go out like your brothers went out. Go out keeping his law, man. That I may receive thee again in mercy and with thy brethren. She said, go out like your brothers, and hopefully, Lord willing, have mercy that I may receive y'all again. I may be born again and bear more righteous men like you, man. You was a good son. That's what she telling him. It's like her last words to him. Verse 30. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom wait ye for? I will not obey the king's commandments, but I will obey the commandments of the law that I will give unto Slakin, law that was given unto our fathers by Moses. He said, man, so then just what the young man said after he got done talking to his mom, he looked up at the king, he said, man, you already killed all my brothers. You killed me, man. What you waiting for? You torturing me. What you waiting for, man? Kill me. You understand? He said, I'm going to read that again. It's heavy. He said, while she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, so while his mom was speaking to him, trying to lift up his faith, you know what I'm saying? This is what he said. Whom wait ye for? He said, what you waiting for? You understand? You already killed my brothers. What you waiting for, you devil? I will not obey the king's commandments. He said, man, I ain't listening to nothing you saying. I'm not obeying no orders that you give me. I ain't eating pork. You got to kill me, man. But I will obey. He said, I will not obey the king's commandments, but I will obey the commandments of the law that was given to our fathers by Moses. He said, I'm only obeying these laws. And what's in these laws is not eating pork. It's not eating pig. So I'm obeying them laws. To hell what you talking about. Kill me. What you waiting for? That's what he told him. Verse 31. And thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shall not escape the hands of God. He said, even though you've been conspiring against all our people, and you seeking to kill our people for keeping these laws of God and for being holy and for being separate and being righteous men and women, you ain't going to escape the hands of God. You ain't going to escape what the Most High got for you. And that's the same thing with this white man. He tried to tell you these Christian pastors try to say the law's done away with, God love everybody, and even white men teach that. But guess what? They're not going to escape from what their ancestors did. They're not going to escape the slavery and the torment that we had to endure. They're not going to escape these things. You understand? They're going to have to face them head on like how we did. You understand? Thus said the Lord. 32. For we suffer because of our sins. That's why black people suffer. That's why Hispanic and Native Americans suffer. We suffer because of our sins, man. We in the ghetto because of our sins. We in the ghetto. We number one for abortion and cancer, high cholesterol, diabetes, cancer. We number one for all these things because of our sins. We number one in AIDS because of our sins, man. That's what you gotta understand. And though the living Lord be angry with us a little while for our chastising and correction, yet shall he be at once again with his servants. He gonna be angry with us for a little while. But with the ISUPK, we building men back up again, and it's not gonna last that long. The Lord ain't gonna be mad at us no more, man. The Lord ain't gonna be mad at us after he corrects us and chastises us. You know what I'm saying? The Lord ain't gonna be mad at us no more. And with the ISUPK, he not mad with the ISUPK. You know what I'm saying? He won with his servants. We the Lord's servants, man. We the priests and prophets of the Lord. He won with us again. We don't have to worry about that torment no more. You understand? Verse 34. But thou, O godless man, you know what I'm saying? These devils are godless. They don't believe in these laws. And of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of God. He said, don't think that you won't get away with lifting up your hands and torturing and murdering my family, the servants of God. Don't think that because the Lord gonna be back at one with us, we gonna be reborn again. But you, on the other hand, After you serve your 1,000 years pending in slavery, you're going to be put to death and you ain't going to never be on this planet again for what you did to us, man. Verse 35, for thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of the Almighty, who seeth all things. The Lord see what these other nations doing to us. For our brethren who now have suffered a short pain are dead under God's covenant of everlasting life. They died keeping the law, statutes. These 7 brothers died keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. They're going to have everlasting life for that. That's what you got to understand. This is the patience of the saints right here. You understand? This is the patience of the saints. But thou through the judgment of God shall receive the punishment of thy pride. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's saying, Obadiah. These heathens, especially the white men, they so prideful. They think that they never have to pay. They think they never fall. They think they're gonna be in rulership forever. They so prideful. You understand? But they ain't gonna escape the hands of God. 37. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers. He said, but then I offer my life up. You know what I'm saying? I offer my life up. Just like how my brothers did. All for the laws of our fathers. That's how important it is to me. I'd rather give my life up than be a hypocrite or a liar or unholy or unclean. I'd rather give my life up, man. Beseeching God that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation. Because men like me is why the Lord going to be merciful unto our nation. Because even under this subjection, I'm still keeping God's laws. That's how important it is to me. And because men like me, he going to have mercy upon our nation. And he going to prevent and he going to put into slavery men like you that seek to kill black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. That's what he's saying. And that thou by torment and plagues mayest confess that he alone is God. He said, even though I'm going through all these torments and plagues, and I'm going to still confess that it's only one God. Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh God. Our God is one, man. That's what he said. 38. And that in me and my brethren that the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon all our nation, may cease. You know what I'm saying? Men like me and my brothers, and then men like that. He basically was saying like men like the ISUPK is why judgment upon us is going to cease, man. Because we love this law. We going to keep this law, even if it means death. You understand? Then the king, being in a rage, handled him worse than all the rest, and took grievously that he had mocked. So the king was mad. He was mad that this younger brother said that he said. He was mad that he said that you're going to go into slavery for what you're doing. You think that you're in rulership right now, and this rulership going to end. And guess what? My people are going to be in rulership. We're going to do the exact same thing that you did. We're going to torment and murder y'all. And put y'all to death. You understand? For not keeping the law. And the king and this white man was so mad about it, he did the younger brother worse than all the other 6 brothers that he tormented. Verse 40. So this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in the Lord. So he died undefiled. That's how you should. That's how the ISUPK teaches men. We teach men to be no cowards and to die undefiled. You understand? Die keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Don't die being weak. Don't let them demons get on you and convince you to smoke weed and eat pork or whatever it is that you're going through. Fight these laws and have glory like these brothers did. You understand? Verse 41. Last of all, after the sons, the mother died. Verse 42. So after they killed the sons, they murdered the mom. That's what these devils do, man. That's what these devils do. After they killed the sons, they murdered the mom as well, man. Verse 42. Let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the idolaters' feast and the extremes. You understand? That's how you supposed to go. Don't be like your Christian pastor who go out and tell you that these laws are done away with and you can do what you want to do. You understand? Even being threatened by death, our ancestors in this Bible, in this book, they still kept these laws, statutes, and commandments because they said, you know what? We're going to come back even more holier for keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. So that's what you got to understand. This is our code of conduct, man. And that's the type of spirit that you got to have when it comes to keeping this law. Just like how you got, just like how in America got laws on how to drive a car. You know, so you got to wear a seatbelt. You got to use your blinkers. You got to do that. You keep those laws for your safety. You keep those laws so you won't get a ticket. You won't fly out the car or something like that. That's what these laws in this Bible is for, man. These laws is for Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians protection. These are our code of conduct. These are our rules that we have to keep as a nation, man. Because just like them brothers, they didn't suffer for something that they did. They suffered for our nation being wicked. You understand? That's why we have to come back as a whole and keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Because just like everybody that was on them slave ships, everybody on them slave ships went bad. There was some good people on them ships that didn't do nothing. But guess what? We still had to suffer as a people. So once we come to that realization and stop being selfish, we can gain the Lord back. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I'm in the class. Shalom, Israel. This is the Israelite School of UPK. Started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohanan. I'm not just out officer 500. Tonight is Wednesday night law class. Make sure y'all tap in tomorrow with Thursday scripture breakdown with General Hyman at ISUPK Sacramento, ISUPK Oakland, or whatever city you in. And you know what I'm saying? With that being said, I'm in the class. Shalom.